Did you know that 73% of roofing salespeople have less than $1,000 in savings when winter hits? That means 3 out of 4 roofers are one slow month away from financial disaster. And it's not because they don't make good money. They simply haven't been shown a better way to manage money. Hey Roof Money Pros, Mike here with Roof Money Pro, and my mission is to help roofing professionals like you maximize your careers and build wealth. If you've ever felt that sick feeling in your stomach when December rolls around and your phone stops ringing, this video is going to change everything for you. By the end, you'll have a bulletproof system that turns slow months from panic mode into planned mode. And if this helps you sleep better at night knowing you're prepared, smash that subscribe button because we're just getting started. It might seem obvious from the name, but your bare bones budget is the absolute minimum amount of money you need to survive each month. Not thrive, not live comfortably, but literally keep the lights on and food on the table. Think of it as your financial life raft when the commission ship starts sinking. This isn't your regular budget where you're trying to rebalance wants and needs. This is pure survival math designed for 3 situations: emergency job loss, off-season income drops, or those brutal commission droughts that hit when you least expect them. Here's why this changes everything for roofers. When your income drops from $15,000 in October to $3,000 in January, your brain goes into panic mode. You start making desperate financial decisions because you don't know what you actually need versus what you think you need. The bare bones budget eliminates that decision fatigue. You already know your number, you already know your cuts, and you can execute the plan instead of panicking. But here's the real power move. Once you know your survival number, you can calculate exactly how much buffer you need during peak season. If your bare bones is $3,500 and you typically make $2,000 during slow months, you know you need $1,500 per month in savings to bridge that gap. That's not guessing, that's simple math. Time to get brutal with your numbers. Pull out your bank statements from the last 3 months because we're working with real data, not wishful thinking. Start with the big 4 essentials: housing, food, transportation, and utilities. Your housing payment is what it is, rent or mortgage. You can't negotiate that in the short term. But look at everything else with fresh eyes. Food doesn't mean your current grocery budget plus eating out. Food means rice, beans, chicken, and basic nutrition to keep you functional. Transportation means gas, insurance, and maybe basic maintenance. Utilities are electric, water, trash, basic internet for work, not premium cable packages and unlimited everything. Don't forget the sneaky essentials that'll bite you if you ignore them. Minimum debt payments. You can't just stop paying credit cards or loans. Insurance premiums for health, auto, and renters or homeowners. Phone service, but we're talking basic plan, not unlimited everything with a new phone every year. Here's where most people mess this up. They guess instead of calculate. Sit down with actual bank statements and add up what you really spend on these categories. Round up, don't round down. You want this number to be bulletproof, not optimistic. Now comes the part that separates the survivors from the strugglers. List every single monthly expense and ask yourself one question. Can I live without this for 2 months? If the answer is yes, it's gone from the bare bones budget. Dining out? Gone. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, and that gym membership you use twice a month? All gone. Subscription boxes, premium software, high-end phone plans, everything gets the axe. But here's where you get smart about downsizing instead of just cutting. Maybe you can't eliminate your phone completely, but you can drop from a $100 plan to a $30 plan. You still need food, but you're cooking everything at home and buying generic brands. You still need transportation, but maybe you're carpooling or combining trips to save gas. The key mindset shift here is understanding this is a temporary survival strategy, not permanent punishment. You're not cutting these things forever. You're pausing them until your income stabilizes. That mental frame makes all the difference between feeling deprived and feeling strategic. Now for the reality check that most roofers avoid until it's too late. Take your bare bones number and compare it to what you actually make during slow months or what you have in savings. Let's say your bare bones budget is $3,800 per month, but you typically only make $2,200 during winter months. That $1,600 gap has to come from somewhere, and it better not be credit cards. This gap becomes your minimum monthly savings target during peak season. If you have 3 slow months, you need $4,800 in your buffer fund just to cover the basics. But here's the smart play. You want at least 6 months of bare bones expenses saved up because you never know when slow months will stretch longer than expected. This comparison also helps you adjust in real time. If a slow month brings in more than expected, you can add back some of the cut expenses. If it brings in less, you know exactly where to cut deeper because you've already done the math. The best bare bones budget is useless if you can't stick to it when stress hits. You need a system so simple that you can follow it even when your brain is in panic mode. The envelope system is a proven method that's been helping people manage money for decades, but there's a modern way to execute it that's even more powerful. Instead of physical envelopes stuffed with cash, you're going to use multiple bank accounts for different purposes to give yourself automatic boundaries. This is actually one of the core factors in my success in roofing sales and how I was able to build serious wealth while most reps struggle paycheck to paycheck. I set up separate accounts for living expenses such as housing, food, transportation, utilities, and emergency expenses, lifestyle, and future freedom such as investments. When the money in each account is gone, I'm done spending in that category. No exceptions, no borrowing from other buckets. Here's why this works better than one checking account for everything. When you see $8,000 in your main account, your brain thinks you're rich and you start making spending decisions accordingly. But when you see $400 in your living expenses account and $200 in your lifestyle account, your brain automatically shifts into budget mode. By the way, this multiple account strategy is actually a key component of the feast system I'm currently building, a complete wealth building framework specifically designed for commission-based roofers. The system covers everything from forecasting sales with confidence, even if you're brand new to the industry, cash flow management, and the account structure, which is the foundation that makes everything else work. If you want first access to the complete feast system when it launches, you need to get on the waiting list now because I'm only opening it to existing members first. Head to roofmoneypro.com and become a free member, or download the bare bones budget spreadsheet that does all these calculations automatically by entering your email address in the link below. Either way, you'll get notification when the class goes live, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. Next, you need to automate everything you can between these accounts. Set up automatic transfers from your main account to each category account, and automatic payments for fixed expenses. This removes the temptation to borrow from essential categories when you see money sitting around. Keep visual reminders of your bare bones limits everywhere. Put your account balances as widgets on your phone. Check them before every purchase, and do weekly reviews to stay on track. This is where discipline separates the pros from the amateurs. Your bare bones budget is not the place for vacations, gifts, entertainment, or anything that makes life fun. Those things come back when your income comes back, but they have no place in survival mode. Don't include extra debt payments beyond minimums. I know it hurts to pay just the minimum on credit cards, but bare bones is about cash flow, not optimization. You'll attack debt aggressively again when commission season returns. Business reinvestment gets tricky, but unless it's absolutely required to keep working, like gas to get to appointments or basic phone service, it doesn't belong in bare bones. The hardest cuts are lifestyle expenses that feel essential, but really aren't. That daily coffee shop visit, weekend activities with friends, new clothes, hobby expenses, they all feel important, but they can all be paused temporarily without threatening your survival. Let me show you how this works with an example. Meet Joe, a 28-year-old sales rep in San Antonio, Texas, who learned this system the hard way after a brutal winter left him scrambling. Joe's bare bones budget totals $2,200 per month, and here's the breakdown. $900 for rent on a modest apartment, $400 for food by cooking everything at home and buying generic, $300 for car payment and gas for his work truck, $200 for utilities including basic internet, $200 for insurance premiums, and $200 for phone service and minimum debt payments. During his peak season, Joe was spending $3,400 per month on everything. He cut out $500 in dining out and entertainment, $300 in subscriptions and premium services, $200 in clothes and personal spending, and $200 in extra debt payments and business expenses. That's $1,200 per month in cuts that didn't affect his ability to work or survive. Here's the genius part. Joe used his peak months to preload what he calls his winter war chest. Every month from April through September, he saved that $1,200 he identified in cuts, plus an extra $300 to build a buffer. By the time slow season hit, he had $9,000 saved up, enough to cover the gap for 6 months even if work completely disappeared. When January rolled around and Joe only made $1,800 instead of his usual $2,200 minimum, he didn't panic. He pulled $400 from his winter fund, stuck to his bare bones spending, and slept like a baby knowing he was prepared. By March, when work picked up again, he still had $7,800 left in his fund and could start adding back the lifestyle expenses he missed. The key insight here is that Joe's bare bones budget wasn't just about cutting expenses. It was about creating a systematic approach to handling income variability. He knew his numbers, had a plan, and executed it without the emotional drama that destroys most roofers during slow seasons. Your bare bones budget is your financial insurance policy against the chaos of commission life. It's not about living like a monk forever. It's about knowing exactly what you need to survive so you can build the buffer that lets you thrive. Start with your real numbers, cut without guilt, compare to your reality, and build a system you can actually follow when things get tight. If you found this valuable and want more strategies for building wealth in the roofing industry, make sure you're subscribed because next week we're diving into how to make savings challenges effortless. Until then, download that bare bones budget spreadsheet and start crunching your real numbers. Your future self will thank you when the next slow season hits.